What is a heat pump? Well, I know I just actually discovered that a couple of people here have been long-term users of heat pumps, and I thank you for that. Actually, what you may not be aware of is I'm willing to bet every single one of you already have a heat pump in your house.
Fridge.
You got it. You get the golden ticket. So a fridge is a very basic heat pump. It's been around a long time. It's certainly not new technology. What's maybe really changed in the last few years is just how incredibly efficient they've become and how effective they are at heating and cooling your home. So as just mentioned, a heat pump is a heating and cooling system. It is one system with two functions, meaning that it can provide heating and cooling for your home. An electric heat pump uses significantly less energy to heat and cool your home than traditional HVAC equipment, and is an excellent choice for existing heating and cooling systems and also for newly built homes. One significant reason that heat pumps are so popular is because of how incredibly efficient they are, up to 400%. So they can achieve this efficiency because they're not producing any energy. Say like your furnace. Like the best furnace you can buy today is 99% efficient. It still needs to burn that gas or whatever it may be to produce that energy. So it's less than 100%. Whereas a heat pump, as I said, in the right system at the right time, can go up to 400% in efficiency. So, and again, they're achieving that because they're not producing any energy. They're just moving it from one area to another. And that's typically very inexpensive to do so. While there are various types of heat pumps, locally, by far the majority that we install, that our customers have installed, are cold climate air source heat pumps. So cold climate air source heat pumps are just that. They're made for where we live. And we have a somewhat extreme environment here. I think the last 12 months is a really good example of that. We're just coming out of maybe this winter, this blizzard this morning. It'll be 13 degrees come Monday. Whatever you like, there's probably something in it for everybody. And heat pumps actually are probably the most uniquely designed system to withstand those rapid and frequent changes in our world today. But cold climate heat pumps, it's virtually all we install today because by today's standards, can work down to minus 30 Celsius. There's a discussion to be had about that, but they get more efficient every day and more effective at going down to a lower temperature and getting more heat out of that air regardless of the outdoor temperature. Compared to other systems, compared to oil furnaces, heat pumps, again, heat up the space 400% more efficiently than oil burning equipment and can reduce emissions by up to 10 tons of CO2e every year. Compared to natural gas, which is incredibly prevalent in this area, heat pumps can heat the space up to 350% more efficiently. So again, that's $3.50 of heat for every $1 you put in there, and can also reduce emissions by up to 6 tons a year. Compared to electrical resistance, baseboards are certainly not uncommon in this area. Heat pumps will heat that space up to 250% more efficiently than electric furnaces or baseboards. So it has advantages over every kind of other product that we know. Why choose a heat pump? Especially relevant for today's discussion. Many different reasons why. Some are, you can lower your energy consumption while increasing your energy savings. As you just saw, because heat pumps transfer heat rather than create it, they use significantly less energy than gas, oil, propane, or certainly baseboard heating. Again, we got the 400% efficiency, and what that really means is break it down to dollars and cents. It's giving you $4 worth of heating for every $1 that you put in it. That's pretty phenomenal. Heat pumps offer easy integration to your home. So the central systems that we typically install will use existing ductwork. There's no radical retrofitting needed to be done to have a heat pump up and running in your home. So there's no need for expensive renovations or reconfigurations the vast majority of times. It can work with your existing setup. You can become way more eco-conscious. A heat pump will reduce your dependency on fossil fuels. That's an absolute fact. So decrease your carbon footprint while increasing your home's comfort and increasing your energy savings. Many reasons. Switching from fossil fuels to clean electricity can reduce one single home's carbon footprint by up to 10 tons per year. That's a lot of carbon. That is enough carbon that is equivalent to removing 4.5 fuel-burning cars from the road entirely and forever. So it has a pretty dramatic impact. What are some challenges with heat pumps? Or a lot of the unknown, a lot of the conversations we have are surrounding this. And so a lot of people understand it, certainly more in the last few years than ever, but there's still a lot of questions to be answered. Are you going to have higher upfront costs for a heat pump? That's a discussion to be had about your specific situation. The answer is possibly, but that's something you need to know with the hard numbers. Does it perform in extreme temperatures? More so every day. Absolutely every day, but again, it's going to come down to your unique environment and what are you hoping to achieve. Contractor knowledge and their experience with heat pumps is something that you absolutely want to take much interest in, because there's lots of contractors out there, lots of people talking about heat pumps, lots of people who don't understand how these need to be professionally and detailed installed, serviced and taken care of, and customer expectations. So you really, if you're going to focus on one end of this, it's about asking the right questions of the right people. And it's incredibly important, especially for heat pumps, that the correct size of equipment is installed and that it's installed, again, professionally by people who know what they're doing, who are licensed, who are certified, who are going to take their time and do this properly and make sure that you have professionals in your home. So there's a lot of things to take into account, but these are the conversations that we have every day with homeowners. When it comes to any HVAC system, but certainly for heat pumps, the most important decision you're going to make is not which model or which brand to buy. It is in choosing which contractor you put your faith in. Because that decision will determine how effectively this all works, how comfortable you are in your home, and ultimately how happy you are with the thousands of dollars you've spent. Your contractor should be able to design, install, and service the equipment that meets the requirements of your home, with complying with all local bylaws, any related building codes, legislation, and guidelines. Improper sizing or inept installation of a heat pump can result in financial consequences and greatly reduce the efficiency and the effectiveness of the system. So here's some questions that we'd highly recommend that you ask any contractor you're interviewing or having a discussion with concerning certain heat pumps. Ask them, is your company certified to install heat pump systems? A heat pump is not a furnace. It is refrigerant in there, it needs a specific license, and again, ideally lots of experience. What type of heat pump is recommended for your specific situation? Every home is different, every installation is different. This is why we always visit the home. We make zero assumptions. How is that contractor ensuring that the heat pump is properly sized for your home? There is something called a heat gain, heat loss calculation that must be undertaken to assure that you are getting the exact size system that is recommended for that home as it is configured. Is my ductwork properly sized for a heat pump? This really comes into play for a heat pump because we want to move as much air through there as possible. Some of the older systems out there or downsized ductwork, it's not going to do what you want it to do, or it's not going to behave as you would want it to behave. How do you qualify for a rebate? We have those conversations with customers every day, and we'd love to have them with you. Will my home require a backup heating supply? Most of the time, the answer to that is yes. This gentleman has had no backup heating supply for 16 years? 16. Tremendous. Again, a unique situation, a specific set of circumstances that may allow you to do that. We typically recommend a backup heating supply. Who knows what's going on in the world, and that may cease to be recommended in a few years from now if the world continues to get warmer. But as of today, typically, locally, we do. But again, that's an individual conversation to have. Use a respected contractor, all I can say, ideally one with local heat pump experience, please. That's it, folks. That's all we really had to say. Again, my name is Dave from Brooks Heating and Air in Georgetown. My partner Peter's outside here. We love having these conversations. We're not new to the game. Chris Brooks himself has been installing heat pumps for decades. We know it very intimately, and we'd love to have the conversation with you.